The Ant and the Dove, a tale of unexpected friendship. Scorching summer sun blazed mercilessly overhead, turning the earth into a furnace that seemed to steal every drop of moisture from the air. Even the usually bustling colony had grown quiet, with most ants retreating deep into their tunnels to escape the brutal heat. But not Stella. Stella was different from her sisters. While they were content to wait out the heat wave with their stored provisions, she felt an adventurous spirit stirring within her tiny chest. More importantly, she was desperately thirsty, and the colony's water reserves were running dangerously low. Someone had to venture out to find a fresh source, and Stella had volunteered before anyone could stop her. Just a quick scouting mission, she had promised the worried workers at the entrance. "I'll be back before the sun reaches its peak." But now, hours later, with her 6 legs aching and her throat parched, Stella was beginning to question her optimism. The familiar landmarks near her colony had long since disappeared behind her, replaced by an alien landscape of towering grass blades and scattered pebbles that looked like boulders to her tiny eyes. Just when she was about to turn back in defeat, a sound reached her antennae, the gentle, musical trickling of water. Following the sound with renewed energy, Stella pushed through a curtain of clover leaves and gasped at the sight before her. A crystal-clear spring bubbled up from between smooth stones, creating a small pool that reflected the cloudless sky like a mirror. The water looked so pure, so refreshing, that Stella's mouth watered at the sight. But there was one problem. The spring was surrounded by tall grass, and the only way to reach it was to climb one of the emerald blades that bent gracefully over the water. "A piece of cake," Stella muttered to herself, flexing her strong climbing legs. After all, she had scaled walls 10 times her height back at the colony. The grass blades swayed gently in the warm breeze as Stella began her ascent. Everything went smoothly at first. Her tiny claws found perfect grip on the blade's rigid surface. Halfway up, she paused to admire the view. From this height, she could see for what felt like miles across the sun-dappled meadow. That moment of distraction proved costly. A sudden gust of wind set the grass blades swaying more violently, and Stella felt her grip loosen. Her legs scrambled desperately for purchase, but it was too late. With a tiny shriek that no human ear could have detected, she plummeted toward the spring. The water was shockingly cold against her sun-warmed body. Stella's world became a chaos of bubbles and churning liquid as she fought to reach the surface. But her waterlogged body felt impossibly heavy, and her frantic paddling barely kept her afloat. Panic seized her as she realized the terrible truth. She was going to drown. High above, in an ancient oak tree, Celeste the dove had been watching the tiny drama unfold with growing concern. Her keen eyes, designed to spot the smallest movements from great heights, had followed the ant's determined journey from the moment she first appeared in the clearing. Celeste had lived long enough to recognize courage when she saw it, no matter how small the creature displaying it. Without hesitation, Celeste spread her pearl-gray wings and swooped down to a lower branch. With her sharp beak, she carefully selected a broad, sturdy leaf and bit through its stem. The leaf fluttered down like a tiny green boat, landing perfectly beside the struggling ant. Stella grabbed onto the leaf with all her remaining strength, her small body shaking with exhaustion and relief. The makeshift raft supported her weight easily, and soon the gentle current carried her to the muddy shore, where she could finally crawl onto solid ground. "Thank you," she whispered toward the tree, though she wasn't sure if the dove could hear her tiny voice. Celeste cooed softly in response, a sound like gentle laughter carried on the wind. But their peaceful moment was shattered by the appearance of a man creeping through the underbrush. In his hands, he carried a large net, and his eyes were fixed predatorily on Celeste's tree. Stella recognized the look immediately. She had seen the same expression on the faces of the children who sometimes tried to destroy her colony's hills. The hunter raised his net, preparing to throw it over the unsuspecting dove. Time seemed to slow as Stella realized that her rescuer was about to become someone else's victim. Without thinking, Stella charged toward the hunter's exposed ankle. Her tiny mandibles, powerful enough to carry objects many times her own weight, clamped down on the soft skin of his heel with all the force she could muster. The hunter yelped in surprise and pain, his concentration broken. The net tumbled from his hands as he hopped on one foot, looking around in confusion for whatever had bitten him. By the time he spotted the tiny ant and realized what had happened, Celeste was already soaring high above the treetops, her wings catching the golden sunlight as she disappeared into the vast blue sky. Stella watched her friends escape with satisfaction before beginning her own journey home. She had found water, made an unlikely friend, and learned that sometimes the smallest act of kindness can make the biggest difference. As her grandmother had always said, one good turn deserves another. This timeless fable teaches us that kindness creates a beautiful cycle of goodness. When the dove saved the drowning ant with a simple leaf, she had no expectation of reward. Yet when danger threatened her life, the tiny ant became her hero. The story proves that no act of compassion is too small to matter, and the kindness we show others often returns when we need it most. One good turn truly deserves another. Did Stella and Celeste's friendship story touch your heart? If you want more beautiful moral tales like this video and subscribe for amazing stories that teach kindness and bring families together. Ring the bell so you never miss our inspiring fables. And comment below about a time someone showed you kindness.